President Trump is praising the GOP's work getting his judicial nominees onto the federal bench. In tweets tonight, the president says, quote, "Thanks to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and the Senate GOP, we are appointing high-quality federal district and appeals court judges at a record clip. Our courts are rapidly changing for the better." The tweets followed today's confirmation of Michigan Supreme Court Justice Joan Larson. She's a former law clerk to the late Justice Antonin Scalia and was on the president's initial shortlist of 21 possible picks to the Supreme Court. She'll now be a federal appeals court judge, just one level below the Supreme Court. Also approved for the federal bench is Amy Coney Barrett, who withstood Democratic concerns about her actually believing and practicing her Catholic faith.
You are controversial. You have a long history of believing that your religious beliefs should prevail.
She said they would not influence her decisions from the bench. Well, those judges would not have moved forward without pressure from Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. I talked with him about those Senate fights today, along with the president's call for Congress to step up and pass measures aimed at preventing terror attacks like the one in New York. I asked the Senate's top Republican how he plans to make that happen and whether it will all be part of a broader immigration reform package, an issue that's actually divided many within the GOP.
The president has basically challenged us to do something on the DACA issue, and that would provide an opportunity to revisit some of these other issues that I think he's been advocating that make sense. He's already engaged in more extreme vetting. I think we ought to try to move towards some kind of merit-based immigration system.
The president wants to see the diversity visa issue unwound. We don't know about the terror suspect out of New York. There are reports that that's how he came to the country. It raises these questions now about reforming that program. Can you separate it out as a single issue? Does it need to be part of a bigger immigration reform package?
Clearly, the legal immigration part of our immigration system could be improved and should be improved. And I think the president's decision on the Deferred Action for Children Arrival, the DACA proposal, provides an opportunity sometime between now and March to not only pass that, but to pass other things that improve the legal immigration system. And this incident in New York further underscores the need to do that.
Judicial nominations, because that is a big issue for you. Word today that the ABA is now rating some of the president's nominees as not qualified. Does that strike you as an accurate assessment of their abilities? Do you think it's more political in nature?
Oh, it's purely political. The ABA has become kind of a left-wing organization dominated by liberal lawyers. At least some of our Democrat colleagues seem to take the point of view that if you're a devout, in this case, Catholic, that somehow you would not be able to follow the law, which is really, I think it's important to remind everybody, we don't have a religious test in this country. It's right in the Constitution. So the good news is the president's making spectacular appointments to these circuit courts. We're confirming them rapidly. We're transforming the third branch, the judiciary, in a way that will reach far into the future because these nominees are young and they believe, as Justice Gorsuch said when he was in my state last month, judges don't wear red and they don't wear blue, they wear black. And those are the kind of people the president's sending up.
You know that terrifies your critics, and I hear from a lot of them, I'm sure you do too. A left-leaning coalition is now pushing back because of the indictments that came on Monday, saying this: the idea that Trump, whose top aides are under federal indictment by the Justice Department for conspiring against our nation, should be able to appoint lifetime judges who will have huge influence over this nation for generations to come is beyond outrageous and defies common sense, and they're calling on you to stop all nominations and confirmations.
That's an absurd argument. The president was duly elected. He has full authority to make these appointments, and the fact that some of these people have been indicted is completely irrelevant. The judicial system and the special counsel will do whatever they're going to do, but it has no relevance whatsoever to the president exercising the full power to make judicial appointments and for the Senate to confirm them.
Let's get back to Mueller and these indictments this week. There have been some calls, primarily from Steve Bannon, saying that the GOP shouldn't be helping or cooperating with this. He's calling for them to cut off funding. There are suggestions that he's asking the White House to slow walk documents.
Well, all I hear from the White House is that they're cooperating fully with the investigation. And the president, in the end, makes that call himself. The various outsiders will express their opinion one way or the other, but all indications I've seen the White House view is, we're fully cooperative.
And on Steve Bannon, obviously, let me ask you, what do you make of this suggestion that his very vigorous, aggressive challenges or suggestion of challenges in the primaries have caused the resignations or retirements of Jeff Flake and Bob Corker and others potentially considering? Is that a factor? What do you make of this kind of inter-party dispute over these primary challenges?
It's been around for a while. I mean, back in 2010 and 2012, the person you mentioned and his allies succeeded in nominating 5 candidates who all lost. So we succeeded in 2014 and 2016 in defeating sure losers in primaries, and we took the Senate and kept the Senate for another 2 years. So we'll be involved in primaries where it's necessary in order to get people nominated who can actually win in November.
Taxes also on the table this year. Did they get done before the end of the year? Am I going to be hanging out with you Christmas week as we have the vote at the cliff for this?
You might be, but our goal is to finish this year. That would be actually a remarkable accomplishment. The key to this will be Republican unity. We want to reduce the incentive to go offshore and provide significant middle-class tax relief. That's what this is about.